it's something I volunteered for the last 10, 15 years. But they're the ones that come up here and do this kind of thing. But it seemed like I was out of the area, so I'm just was relying on what I was hearing from neighbors and what I was hearing. But they're the ones that come in and help with this kind of thing. And so we're going to have State Community Council is having something here in Sycamore Springs on July 8th. We're going to have somebody from Rears, because we just had our field training, so I confirmed with him he would send somebody from Rears. And we're also going to have a lady that does demonstrations on how to load difficult horses. So it was the two things that you were just talking
Absolutely.
about. And that's going to be a part of our community thing.
They need that.
Yeah.
They need that. They also, I have someone I was speaking with, getting a list together of facilities in the area that in case of an emergency situation like a fire or other emergency situation where evacuation is needed, that there are transport and facilities that were willing to accept X number of animals at a moment's notice.
Well, those facilities they have to contract with animal control because there's a lot of liability involved in taking your 50-acre ranch and boarding facility and bringing in horses from the
Well, that's why I'm wondering how CRC handles it.
Yeah, I don't know if they just jumped right in and said bring them here, but the only
And that
problem, but the only problem with those types of arrangements is, yeah, you've got way too many horses in one spot that's awful close to the evacuation. They were thinking about using Yahweh Downs, but in reality, the evacuation zone was clear down there. Yeah. So it has to be somewhere out of the area, way out of the area.
Yeah. Usually,
it was Harris Fairgrounds, but nowhere near.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Normally, most things, when that happens, they go to a fairground because it's usually wide open. There are stalls, stable areas where horses can be placed, livestock, goats, cows.
Yeah, and see, animal control and rears, they all coordinate those efforts. So the people that can get their own animals out, hunky-dory is great, but the ones that need help getting them out, you know, that's where that all gets arranged and they go to whatever the contracted places are. And I don't think CRNR or Gallery Downs are contracted now with the Fairview.
I think that was the owner said, we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. And there was another place in Menifee that did it too.
But mine wasn't residence.
Yeah, so it's got to be somewhere out of the area, and that all gets mapped out.
He loved it. He didn't want to go home.
Yeah.
He was in love with the little horse next to him. Ruben?
Yeah, and my horse. At home, got the trailer, he was ready to go now, right? And we took him over to Cooper Ranch, left him over there, they got back.
Exactly. That's the kind of
We're
thing
gonna have
that
to
you
go back over and grab the horse.
don't want to have to move horses twice.
Yeah, so we had the trailer and everything there, we didn't end up going back there. But when we did go back to get the horse, he's like, I'm not going to that thing. He didn't want anything.
Oh, it's everyone like it.
We had to get rid of the trainer.
Where's my girlfriend?
How would you like to be addressed? Is it my first name? I don't know.
That's
Well,
what
you call me Chris?
Okay, because I don't know, you know, with cops, it's always officer, but I don't know.
No.
Just don't talk about that.
My name's Chris, and
So,
I'm here to help however I can.
and I'm trying to utilize your time as efficiently as we can. So during the lightning strike, that was probably 10 years ago, that was up here, maybe 10, can't remember.
Exact rainstorm, I think.
There was, I think it was Batista, or it was a camp. It was
Probably just used to the other tow system.
Yeah, low minimum. Yeah, turnaround guys that want, they're just awesome. They were actually on that property for 14 hours doing cleanup. So with this group that we're forming here, is that something that the state appoints, or is it something that we could request with that group to come up and help? Because they're training. I understand they're incarcerated and they're doing their time, and I respect that, and they're people too.
Yes.
But can we request the support from them when we kind of gear this thing up?
Yes.
Okay.
So, there's a couple form numbers that are associated with utilizing our inmate fire crews. It's a low cost thing, but since the guys do get paid a nominal wage, that's part of the FC 3132 process. And so the council would submit to Batista Camp for an FC 3132 for the community. The law enforcement, the CDCR staff will come out and make sure it's low risk. And once that's all in agreement, they'll be able to come out and you can utilize them for fuels reduction work. I think, last I checked, some of our agreements, I don't think it was much more than like $180 a day.
For the whole group.
For the whole group. So it wasn't super expensive. And that's something too, once the grant money, you guys are able to apply and get awarded, that's another process we can go down. The biggest lift, and I think you folks are on the right track, right? Identifying your mission, identifying your vision. You've already elected your group. The next step is, identify what you want to do in the community. Is it brushing road systems to reduce roadside starts? Is it to do tactical work around your homes? Is it, to improve ingress and egress for the community during evacuations? Like those are the next steps, right? Is truly identifying what kind of work you want to see done. And that's where myself, Garth, we'll get a Forest Service representative in here. That's where we can help guide the committee. And then when you all develop your community wildfire protection plan, that's your roadmap. That's what gets you there. And that's why when I was talking to Carol earlier about like, hey, that needs to be really a grant funded document because it can be cumbersome. And it's a lot for all to expect all of you to do. The GIS pieces alone, the mapping pieces, is super cumbersome. So realistically, that's a contract that needs to go out for you all to get a CWPP with your mission, with your values, and what you want to do. And forgive me if I've overstepped, Carol.
So does the GIS show your boundaries of your council? Okay.
It will show exactly where you all determine you want it to be, and it'll show your major roadways, which you've identified as your ingress and egress points. It'll show you areas within your community that are target hazards, that are areas that, as a community, you were all concerned about.
Have you seen the map that is available from the census that identifies the Sage area?
I got it.
You know what map?
I got a big one.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I'll look.
We have a map that actually
real.
identifies Sage. I kind of question
It's
some of
where we were trying to get a zip code.
Oh, okay.
it. Right.
And it identifies Sage.
And the county did it.
Yeah.
The county
But-
planning department did it.
So to circle back to your question, once that roadmap's built and we've defined what we want to do, we as the Fire Safe Council, that's when you could put the rubber to the road with the crews in the area and have them engage and assist. What I used to see the Wrightwood Council do is they would do chipper days. So they would raise money and they would have, a barbecue. Everyone would bring all their yard waste and the CDCR crews would come up and they would chip it all for everybody. And that was a big thing, right? You had a central location point, you'd have a barbecue, you'd have something, and those guys were there to assist with that work. But it's not a big deal. Like when I worked at Batista, we would go to Saboba all the time and do stuff for Saboba and the Diamond Valley Lake. We were always out helping the community.
Are you ready?
Okay, fire ahead.
Okay, last time we were here, we voted on the name of Foothills Fire Safety Council. After kicking it back and forth numerous
Fire
times.
safety, council, with safety.
the safety-
That makes it longer.
Well, to shorten the name, one of the things that I kept looking at is I'm looking at Foothills as versus Foothill, and then the FSC as far as short. Not changing the name completely, to change it from the Foothills to Foothill, and the SSC.com would be for communication, on our website. I would like to propose that we should take that F off of Foothills and make it Foothills. I know it's not a big deal, but it sounds like when you say Foothills, where's Foothills? As versus Foothills sounds like something. So,
Foothill Fire Safety Council.
Council,
Fire
yes.
safe.
Fire
And-
safe.
Safe.
say,
Yeah.
See, nothing's in great in stone yet because we haven't filed documents for articles of incorporation. So if we're going to do something like that, this would be the time to do it.
right now.
It's kind of like we made a decision that there's some other considerations that kind of graphically speaking have come forward that it might be better just to not have the S on here. Same, concept, just will lend itself a little better to publications and things that we intend to put forward.
I think it sounds better.
All right?
I think it sounds better, the S on the end, kind of, yeah. I think it sounds
Foothill or
better.
Foothill?
I like Foothill.
Foothill, yeah,
Foothill.
Foothill, yeah.
It sounds like something.
Yeah, I
Now, as
agree,
far as
Someplace.
regulations go,
I agree.
I ran the first name through with the Secretary of State, and there was no Foothills Fire Safety. Well, when I ran the first name through. Now I'm gonna have to do it again to make sure that there's no. What I found was that most of the ones that had that kind of a labeling had the area in front. One is Calabasas, Foothills Fire Safety Council. Another one was it Yellowstone? Yellowstone
Yeah.
Fire Safety Council, something like that. But they had the name of the area in front. So, and the reason we kind of didn't want to pigeonhole the name in front of the area was because we do want to grow it out a little bit. I'm just not sure that ANSA is appropriate because it's so large.
And they have their own, don't they?
Well, the other reasoning that behind it, and Mark brought up the point that when we go for a grant, if we get too large, it dilutes our area's ability to do certain things because the money is spread out of our area. So that's a consideration. And that's why I wanted to start here, and then if we choose, we'll branch out, we'll stretch a little bit.
I never saw the map from the meeting.
From the zip
3
code
years
thing?
ago, Zip code meeting.
I've got it.
So
And-
would it make sense seeing the map and maybe Chris can chime in to how many square acres is that? As far as.
Oh,
say-
it's gigantic.
So, yeah.
It went up Cactus Valley.
Huh?
It included Cactus
It
Valley.
includes Cactus Valley.
Right, so
And that's where
that
it
being
stops.
said, maybe it's
What?
sage.
At Cactus Valley it stops? Sorry.
Yeah, where City of Emmett is.
I think it goes to
Yeah.
Newport Road. It
Yeah.
also goes way down to, like, part of it goes way down by